Hi and welcome back. In today's video, we are going to talk about the events and the listener. The first thing we need to understand is what actually is an event. Now let's say when I am creating a post, I can consider it as an event. If I think outside the blog application, let's take the example of an e-commerce application. Whenever we are registering on some e-commerce application, we create a new account, it sends an email to our account. It sends a verification email to my email ID. It sends an SMS to verify my phone number. So there are a lot of things which are going to happen at the event of my registration. So registering an account can be considered as an event. Let's suppose you are making a purchase. That is also an event. So when you are making a purchase, you get a mail related to the order. You get a message related to the transaction on your SMS. So there can be few things which we have to do at a particular point of time. That is we are considering as an event. So in our application, the application that we are doing side by side, basic application like blog. So here let's consider up a use case, though it is not a very big use case, but yes, let's think about it, that whenever a user is going to create a new post, let's send a email to the user and send another mail to the admin. Right. Assume that this is a very big blog application. Whenever you are publishing one of the whenever you are publishing one new post, might be your followers. Your followers want to, you want your followers to be notified, right? So there can be mail sent to them. There can be mail sent to the admin that a new post has been generated, or to the moderators to check the language of the blog, right? So let's think of 2-3 tasks whenever a post is being created. So I'll go to the post controller, post controller, and here we are creating our blog post. Now let's think it this way, that send a mail to the user about post published, right? So here we are saying that we are sending the mail. I mean, the application is sending the mail to the user itself who has just got the post published. Okay. And next we can think of send a mail to the admin about the post published, by user, right? So this way we are creating two tasks over here, right? Now, if suppose this was an e-commerce application, right? Let's assume in e-commerce application, right? Sorry, it became re-commerce. It should be e-commerce, e-com application. So now in the e-com application, suppose the event is register. So as soon as you register your account, might be it is going to ask for verify the mobile number and then verify the email ID. So see, now you have to do two different tasks. I mean, the application has to do two different tasks on the time of the registration. In fact, it need to save the data inside the database also is one part. Let's think of one more case. Place an order on the e-com app. Okay. So while I'm writing up, there are a lot of sales going on. The festival sale are going on the e-com applications, various e-com applications. So now you think of so many people are making the purchases. For every user they would be sending up so many number of mails, right? So we'll also see up how we can optimize the performance when there are so many number of users. But let's come back over here. Place an order on the ecom. What can be the event? Let's say I'll give a name to the event as order placed. Now when an order is placed, what are the things to be done? Right, the first one is send order confirmation mail. All right, send an SMS. So companies always look forward for reaching to the user at the quickest time, right? So sometimes people have entered up a different mail which is not configured on their mobile, or so the best option is reaching with the SMS. So let's now think, okay, WhatsApp is also nowadays very popular, so a lot of applications are integrating with WhatsApp also, so they can send a WhatsApp message too. Now see, you have 3 set of codes to be written, right? So if you are going to write all this code inside your controller, unnecessarily we are mixing up the logic. We are mixing up the logic of sending the mail inside the controller with the logic to save the record, right? So here if you see, I'm saving the record. It is a bit cleaner. Let's not mix this sending of the mail here. So for sending of the mail, we understood that, okay, I can use a mailable, right? So let's say if I have a mail to $user, so I'll call the send function. I can say, let's assume I have a mail that is post published, to which I am passing the $user. So this mail is not yet created. This mail class is not yet created. I'm just showing up the syntax. So this is one liner syntax I can write. Another liner syntax I can write over here. Let's say user published, post published. I'll suffix it with mail. So now see, I have created 2 different mail classes and my work looks easier. I don't have to write a lot of mail configuration here, because mail configuration stuff will go inside the post published mail class and user post published mail class. Fine. And now suppose if I have to do some more work, like later client comes back and says, okay, why don't we send the mail to, let's say, the users who are following this particular user, right? I'll change the name so that it would be more better. So now let's say the client comes back and says that, okay, send the mail to all the users who are following this particular user, right? So at that time you have to use a loop, send so many number of mails, but then see, unnecessarily you are coming inside the controller and trying to edit the method which is already running good, right? Because client has not asked you to change the saving logic, right? Client has not asked you to change the saving logic. So don't change this method. The best place is write up a class, right? Let's take it away, put it in a new notepad, and here we are going to say call a function that does all work required at time of post publish. Okay, so I am saying that let this method do the work which it is supposed to. It is only supposed to store the data. Okay, it is storing it. Then what should we do of sending the mails? I have the mailable class. I have only 2 lines of code. Let's write it over here. No, we will not do that. We will create a function that does all the work required at the time of post publish. And where are we going to send it? We will consider that the saving of the post or publishing of the post is an event, right? Is an event, and we are going to generate that event. Okay, we are going to generate that event. Now when an event is generated, right, whenever you are going to generate an event, you will have the listeners for that event, right? You will have the listeners for those event. So event happens, you fire the event, there is a listener class. So listener class would be listening. I mean, it is waiting that as soon as the event fires, the listener class is going to run its code. And event class is listened by the listeners. Now, what is a listener class? Now, there would be a set of classes which we call as listeners, which are waiting for the event to fire, right? So the event is post published. So you are going to fire the event. You are going to execute the event, right? The event is, that is post publish. So as soon as you tell your application that the event is fired, right? Event is executed, event has happened. At the same time, the listeners who were listening to that particular event, who were registered to listen to that event, will immediately execute, right? So one event can have many listeners. One event can have many listeners. Consider the listeners as the work to be done. So here now I can have one listener as send mail to user, right? Send mail to user. Second, I can say send mail to admin. So next time when client comes back to you and says, okay, I want to make changes when the event, or when, because he would be a bit non-technical, so client would say, okay, I want that other users should also receive the mail, the users who are following user A, so they all should receive the mail that user A has published some post. So then you don't have to go into the controller, don't make the changes here. You can directly come to the event, add a third listener class. That's all. You don't have to make changes in the existing code, because you have to add something new. Let's create a new file. Let's not change the existing code. Okay, now how to achieve all these things, how to create the events, listeners, everything, we'll quickly see it. Okay, so to create the event, right, to create the event and configure the event, we'll have a provider. Okay, we'll have an event service provider. So here in the event service provider, you can see there is already a sample event registered, which is its name itself is registered, but we also call it as a listener mapping or listener registration. So here, this is the event, right? On this line of code on the left side, you can see this key is actually a listener registered class. This is a listener, and this is coming already packed with the Laravel. As I said in the very early classes, Laravel is giving you the authentication bootstrapping. We have not yet seen it. We'll come to it later when we are more aware of this all Laravel stuff things. So now this event is working at that point, right? For the default authentication part where user will receive the mail, right? Here you can see the listener is send email verification notification. Let's, if you want, we can quickly look at so I might need to, okay, no problem, I'll show you later. Okay, so we are going to create our own event and our own listeners. So let's do one thing. There are two ways to actually create it. One option is you go over here, PHP artisan make. So you have a command make event and make listeners, right? So let's say, wait, I'll run all the commands. I'll quickly see. Yeah, here you can see make listener. Why it was not showing here actually? Yeah, it is actually here as well. Okay, so make listener. So whenever we are going to make run this command, we have to specify the class. It will create a event listener, right? And here is the event. So create a new event class. This is one option. Second option is you can use the event generate, right? Event generate. Now for using this command event generate, I would have to go and map it over here. Right, I would have to go and map it at this point. So different ways, I'll run both of the ways and show you. So here I'm going to write a class that is user post published colon class. So this will be the key, and one key can have multiple, one event can have multiple listeners. Okay, so let's write up a listener name also. Send post publish notification colon class, right? And same way you can put over here send post publish notification I'll just think of a name over here to make a bit difference. So send post publish notification class, send admin post publish notification class, right? Now I have two listener classes and one event class. Now what is the right place to let these classes generate? If I'm going to generate it at this point, right? So I'm going to use that command php artisan event colon generate. Okay, so if I run this command, actually at this point, right, it will create these classes in this particular folder itself, right? Because you have not specified the namespace, so it will be creating at this namespace. Okay, let's run this and see. Okay, there is a typo error. Generate. Fine. So you can see here, send admin post publish, send post publish notification, user post publish. Classes have been created, files have been created, but actually they are at the wrong namespace. We can use it from here, but not a good practice, very bad practice, right? If I use it from the wrong namespace. So what should we do now? We will first of all delete these. Let's delete this. And second, how am I going to put the path? So here you can add the path, use app/events/ this is my class name. Okay, and for the listeners, right, you won't find these folders right now. App is not having these folders, right? So what we can do is we can add these path listeners, and now Laravel is going to generate it, right? Let me see why it is error. Correct. I need to put the listeners path, right? Okay, so now it is good. Though these folders are not existing, but once I'm going to run this command php artisan event generate, you can see the folders are created, listeners and events. Okay, and one very good thing is that it has already created up some binding, right? So the listener has the binding of the event, I mean passing of the parameter, right? Injecting the event, not binding. Binding is already given in the event service provider. So here it is passing it is injecting the event object, right? So now if I want to fetch any data from the event, I can fetch it from this event object, right? So event is created here, user post published. So this is one method. Okay, so if you want, I can delete it, or you can also try yourself. You can create up I'll go and create one demo event, right? php artisan make event demo event, right? So here you can see demo event is created, and similarly I can go and create the demo listener. So demo listener will go into the actually I need to change this listener. Okay, so demo listener is now created inside the listener. So this way you can create the event and the listener, and you can go to the event service provider, make the mapping. You can register them here. Okay, so let's delete this demo event. Good. Right. Okay, so what is to be done next? I need to send the mail. Okay, if I want to send the mail, I need mailable classes, right? I need the mailable classes. So here I'm going to generate two mailable classes, php artisan make mail. Let's copy the same name, user one I'll call as post published mail -- markdown. Right, so I'm generating up a mailable markdown, and another one I'll take a mail as post admin mail. Okay. Okay, so mail already exists. Okay, I'll check it. I'll rename them from the files itself. Okay, so let's go and quickly update our content. So this is my mail, post published admin mail, and right. So I'm going to send the mail over here. Fine. So this is the post which is to be sent to the admin. All right. So here we can write up a message. User has published a post. Okay. So this would be the default like credentials from where I'm sending the mail, and markdown is actually the path of the file whose content would be put into the mail, right? The body where you are going to write the body. So it is the emails folder. You have to go to the resources, views, emails, post, and here is the published.blade.php. Okay. So let's write up a quick message for admin. I think here it is. Right. So we'll go to the admin, and here we can write, let's say, hi, and $user name has created a new post. Right. So let's write up the title for the post, title, and $post title. Okay. So we are going to use two objects over here, user and the post, right? And I'm going to click here. Okay, so I'm just writing up the button over here. I'm not going to add the button information right now, else the video would be like too big. I'll keep it short. I'm just going to send a mail, that's all. Rest we'll cover up in the second part. Okay, so mail is created, and I'm going to just copy this, put it inside the another mail also here. So let's mention up, your post has been published successfully. Okay, so this is good. Click button. Yeah, everything is good. So content of both post is ready, right? Content of both mail is ready. So this mail has been sent to the admin, right? So its subject is this, from would be, let it be this test value, and then markdown is given. Okay, let's close this. And the second one is email verification mail. Yeah, this one. So here also we are going to make some changes. So I have set the subject, right? Subject would be your post. Your post is published. Right. So from the test credentials, and markdown is emails post published, right? So we have to send these two mails. Let's close this, close it here, then email verification mail, close all content. Okay, I'm going to close this thing also, not required. This we can use it quickly. Right, so post controller, I'm not doing it from here. I will not write. I'll keep all the code at the isolation, so that if I want to change anything at the time of event, that is fine. It is a separate class, so it will actually go to the listeners, right? So in the listener, this is my listener for sending the mail. So I'm going to send it from here. I'll say this is for admin. So I'll just pick up the admin. second listener is this. Okay, so now we need the information, right? Who is the user, what is the post? So that information needs to be fetched from the event. Okay, so here we are going to say user $user post $post. Okay, even if you want you can only pass the post. From post we can fetch the user, but let's not do it right now because we have not gone into very detail of a relationship. Let's pass both the object. So user, include it in the namespace, post, include in the namespace. Right, and we are going to use them inside a public variable. So public $user public post. Okay, right, so we have this user post is getting initialized, and now I will be fetching these user post inside my user and the post objects inside my listeners. Okay, so here I'll say $event user, and the mail name, right? We need to check the mail name. So post, this is the notification that is to be sent to the user, right? So post published mail. Right, so this post published mail will also get the user, right? Not this, it should be event. So we are fetching it from event. Fine. I need to just include the namespace. Yes. So mail to the event, send this particular mail. Fine. And let's go to the admin post. So here we are again sending the mail. All right, so mail to admin. Now we don't have the admin email right now. You can keep it in the environment file, right? Or right now I'm hard coding it, but we can keep it inside the configuration or the environment file. Best practices, we'll see it later. So send the mail, and the mail name is send admin post published notification, and we need to send it to the information about the user. Okay, one more thing, we need both the user information and the one second, actually it's giving some error, let me check. Correct, the name was not right. So post published admin mail, now it is good, right? So we need to send both the user information and the post information in both of these mails, right? Then only you would be able to use the object inside your the template, right? The mail template. So let's fetch the user okay. And now remember, in your mail, if you want certain variables to be accessible inside the blade template, it should be in the public, right? It should be as a public variables, right? So we will declare our public variables here, $post public user. Okay, I'm actually going to copy this and put it in the admin mail also. Right, so now both the user and the post would be available for our blade templates. Right, so let's follow everything and quickly verify if all is going good. Right, So the first thing is we have created an event. So let's go to the events first. So event is created. It will accept two objects, user and the post, and then the listeners are going to fetch the user from the event, right? And they also need the post as well. So they would be forwarding the post $event post, right? And the same thing I require in my other notification, I mean another listener as well. Okay, so quickly check again. Event is good, then listeners. So listener is sending the mail to admin email, and both the objects are passed. Here also we are sending it to the user and both parameters are passed. Fine. Let's go to the event service provider. Event is mapped with the listeners. Good. We can quickly check the emails, the mailable. So email, post. So published is for user. Your post has been published. It will get the post title, and here username and the post title are required. So it looks good. Let's quickly run it, test it. If anything is going wrong, we'll fix it. And right, so what we need to do actually is we need to create a post, and two emails should appear over here. One should be on the user email ID, that would be jaswinder@test.com, and another one should be at the admin. The content of the post itself will tell like who is receiving which one. Okay, so post title to test the event. This is a sample post. Okay, let's click on submit. Let's reduce it. Post to test the event. Okay, post created successfully and nothing happened. Wow. Okay, so the problem actually is we have not fired the event, right? Everything is created, but why it has not sent any mail? The reason is we have not fired the event. So where to fire the event? So this is actually the place where event is happening. The post is saved. I assume that the post save means post published. Okay, so here we are going to call the event. We are going to fire the event. So event new post published, user post published. This is the event, and in this event I have to pass two objects. The objects are $user and $post. Okay, so now the event is registered over here. We can even delay the event also, right? We can delay the event. I can say that okay, when the post is published, it should go after like 10 minutes. Okay, so we can do all those kind of settings, but let's focus on only simple event creation. So let's go back and create up a new post. Second post to test the event, some test description, right? Let's go and change this limitation, this validation part. I don't need 20 characters. I need a let's say 64 characters limit. Okay, submit this again. Now see, it is taking a bit of time. That means the mail is actually being sent. So let's refresh our mailbox. Okay, I got the first mail. Your post is published. Cool. And I see some default content of layout of the mailables. That is the beauty of mailables. We'll discuss about mailables later. So your post has been published successfully. Title is given. So if I click on this button, nothing is going to happen. The URL was not given. I mentioned it earlier. So user has published a post. See, the name is given, has created a new post, title is given. So admin can click on this. He can check the content. If everything is good, he can either approve it or ban it or whatever he want to do, he can do it, right? And similarly, the client comes later. Okay, I want to send the mail to all the users who are following this guy. So in that case, not to worry, not to do a lot of things. Just go to the listeners and create a new listener class. Put all your logic in that listener class, and map the listener inside the event service provider with your event. That's all. So it looks good up till here. I believe everyone will be good with this event thing. And remember, if you are going for any Laravel interview, definitely they are going to ask you about the events, jobs, queues. So these are like 4-5 topics which every Laravel developer is being asked for, whether he is like a fresher or 2 years experience or 3 years experience. So they can give you some code where they want to see how you are using up the events. Okay, so in the next session we are going to do a little bit more about the events, like how can I move these events into a asynchronous mode of execution. So till then, thank you everyone. Bye. Please share these videos with your colleagues who want to learn Laravel. And this is actually a complete live videos. I am not editing anything in this. So all the errors etc which you see, we will be solving them at the real time, right? So thank you everyone. Have a nice day. Bye.